Hi, I'm Dave Monty and welcome to our video series, Everything Villages. Today I'm going to cover when is it the best time to buy or to list a home here in the Villages, so stay tuned. As always, a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. Both those actions help these videos reach more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you'd like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages, just email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, and I'll send you out your copy. I also have a nifty cost of living / budgeting tool that you can also get right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. All right. And then just cover a couple of the videos, other videos that are on my channel that are of interest to a lot of most of the subscribers if you haven't seen them yet. I got a pricing part 1 and 2, which talks about the bigger things that affect pricing in the Villages, location, pools, types of lots, stucco versus vinyl, etc. They do need a little bit of updating on the exact dollar amounts, but the relative difference between locations still is the same, etc. Biggest bang for your buck, I discuss updating homes after you purchase one. A lot of people want to be in the traditional part of the Villages, but they want a newer home, and most of the homes north of 44 need some updating, and that we will do that for you before you even move here. So we try to make it as easy as possible for our buyers. I got a cost of living tool that you can request, and there's some tutorials. I did talk about the two markets on my last market update, buying sight unseen, and more, and plenty more. All right, so let's get to when is it a good time to buy or to sell? There's very little seasonality here. The market is fairly consistent throughout the year. So as a buyer, you want to know what the inventories are. Well, inventories come from people listing their homes, and most of the people listing their homes here tend to be moving out of the Villages. They're either going into assisted living, nursing home, possibly going back up north. A lot of times those are triggered by health events, which the sellers don't have control over. So there is just a constant stream of homes coming on the market on a very consistent basis here in the Villages. You don't have to worry about school districts or school schedules. You don't have to worry about the weather. You don't have to worry about work schedules. You just, there's not really a bad time to sell or to list here. Well, let's take a look at the numbers. For the next few graphs that I'm going to show you, I just took the average by month over the last 10 years to arrive at these numbers. First thing to take a look at is the active number of listings. Now, it looks like there's a big dip in the summer. There's definitely a dip in the summer. I can't really explain why it bumps up in November. I've been trying to kind of look at it 5 different ways, but I'm not 100% sure. But the general trend is busy season, there's more homes, and in the summer there are less homes for sale. Now, I could change the scale of the y-axis here from 0 to 400, and this would end up looking like a flat line because there's only really a 5% difference between busy season and the summer. Now, I use the MLS, or a multiple listing service, to run these stats. There is not a stat for when homes go under contract, and that's probably the more important thing to understand, is when these homes are actually, the buyers are in the home, they like the home, and they put it under contract. What I do have access to is a number of closings. Now, closings will happen 4 to 6 weeks after a contract because you need time for the buyer to do an inspection, the seller to make the repairs, if you're getting a loan, the underwriting, title work, etc. So it's 4 to 6 weeks typically for a closing. So if I want to see when homes go under contract, I can move this graph back 4 to 6 weeks. I only did it like 1 month, 4 weeks. And you'll see that the greatest number of homes going under contract are right here. I bet you if I shifted it the full 6 weeks, this number would be a lot higher as well. In general, more homes are being sold in the busy season. Let's take a look at the average price per square foot. Again, we're going back 10 years and taking an average by month. And you will notice that homes do sell for a little bit more during busy season than they do during December. Now, if I just change that axis from like 0 to 200, it's pretty flat. So yes, there's a decent difference between, $8 per square foot difference. That's $16,000 on a 2,000 square foot house. So it is not insignificant. But at the same time, these are averages and they go way back, and there isn't a huge difference. Okay? But if you're playing the numbers, this might be one of the better times to buy a home. Now, let's get to when is the best time to list your home. If you want to list your home, the definite best time to do it is during busy season. More homes are being sold, and they tend to go for a little bit more per square foot. And that could be for a number of reasons. You don't have as many multiple offer situations near the end of the year when there's less buyers in town. When you have multiple offer situations, a lot of times the home can get bid up. So that's one of the reasons why, beginning of the year might be a better time to list your home if you have a choice. So when is the best time to buy if you need to sell your primary home? Well, I guess the first thing is, when should you sell your primary home? Now, in most markets, now here in the Villages, again, we talked about it's a very consistent market throughout the year. Okay, but in most cases, the best time to sell a home is going to be in the springtime. The reason is that weather's starting to get better. People are getting out and they want to go look at homes. They don't have to worry about the school schedules as much or work schedules. So things tend to kind of relax a little bit in the spring. Then my recommendation is to come down here and rent for 2 to 3 months while you're looking for a home. And it does a couple of things for you. One of them is it greatly reduces the stress of trying to time everything out. My movers are coming on Thursday. I'm closing on Friday. I'm driving down to the Villages, and we're going to close on the new house in the Villages on a Tuesday, and our furniture is going to arrive. Closings often slip, things happen, and it can become incredibly stressful. So my recommendation, actually, sell your home and come down here and rent. We're going to list in early spring, but it feeds right into the short-term rental market here. So instead of renting down here in busy season, where a patio villa might cost you $3,500 to $4,000, is if you sell your home and all of a sudden you're in the May, June timeframe, you're in the off season, and you can come here and rent for 2 to 3 months in a very affordable, nice rental property. Okay, and now you can take your time looking for your house. By being able to take that extra time to look for your house, you actually open up the inventory. So you have a fixed set of inventory here, and I'm here for 1 week, and I just happen to find that one little piece of inventory that is going to meet my needs. Now, if I increase this to 2 to 3 months, now that intersection is much bigger. I have many more homes to look at that are going to meet my criteria, rather than just possibly finding that one house that fits me in that 1 week that you happen to be here buying a home. So I always recommend coming down 2 to 3 months to look for a home and take your time looking for your home. It happens quite a bit. I'll get a buyer in town and they say, there's no way we're going to be moving down in where they're building new. The bonds are pretty expensive. There's really not any infrastructure down there for conveniences like grocery stores and doctors, etc. So they're adamant, we're not going to buy a new house. Then they're here for 1 week and they go look 2 days for homes, and there just happens to be nothing that meets their criteria. They're looking at homes that happen to be sitting on the market for a while. They need some updating, and they just go, nope, it's much easier for me just to go buy a new house. I can pick the floor plan I want. I can pick the lot that I want. And then they end up kind of settling for the location. If you open up your window of opportunity, now you can wait for something to come on the market that exactly meets your needs and make an offer, and you have more time to do that. Now, is that a huge concern for people, new versus a home that needs updating? I think the people who have kind of that knee-jerk reaction, they wanted to live north of 44, but they got frustrated the week they were here looking for homes and they end up buying down south. A lot of those people are turning around and reselling their homes and trying to move north. The rate of homes that are selling south of 44 is 3 times that north of 44. Okay? So the rate or the pace that they're selling is 3 times the number south as it is north. Okay? So people are, and that's actually counterintuitive because you would expect the older the population, the more that there's going to be a compelling event that's going to force them to sell your house. Most of the sales south of 44 are pretty much voluntary because they just don't like the location. So especially if you're planning on moving north of 44 and want to be in the traditional part of the villages, highly recommend renting here for 2 to 3 months. All right, I belabored at that point. All right, next little thing. Okay, so we talked about when, and I'll summarize that at the end. How to prep for a buying trip. It's pretty easy. I recommend 2 things. One of them is you have your financing in order, and the other one is to start learning the market. Before you come on a trip here, look at homes. Always click the map. Understand where they're located. And you will see that probably the most expensive homes are around Brownwood because it's north of 44 in the traditional part of the villages, and they tend to be the newest homes. Then the home prices get less expensive as you radiate out towards Brownwood, whether you're going newer or older. Okay, so way up north is probably the least expensive, other than the new homes are also are on par with what you would pay for an older home way up north. Next thing is just get your financing in order. If you're getting a loan, pre-qualify for your loan and bring that paperwork, or bring proof of funds paperwork if you're paying cash. And the paperwork can be anything actually. I mean, you can take a picture of a laptop screen, and just as long as it has your name and institution name and the dollar amount, that proves that you have the money to afford the house that you're looking to buy. Lastly, always bring a checkbook, because you will have an escrow payment that's due, and you can write a personal check for the escrow. And typically the contracts say you have about 3 days to get that in. So always bring a checkbook on a buying trip. In summary, okay, there's never a bad time to list or to buy a home here. Okay? So, if you're looking to buy or to list, don't worry about putting it on the market at any time or when. And if you're only available to come here during busy season, then you're only here to come to busy season. Not a huge difference in price, not a huge difference in inventory. What you do have is many more buyers here competing for the same inventory. But if you choose to list January through March, definitely for the reasons I just said, there's a lot more buyers here. And if you're buying and you don't need to sell your home, I'd recommend fall. The reason I recommend that is if you don't need to sell your home, then you don't have to rent. And if you happen to bleed into busy season where the rents are more expensive, you can stay at home and buy sight unseen. There's a lot of different options there. Then if you need to sell your home, sell it in the spring, have a nice relaxing close, put that money in the bank, come down here for 2 to 3 months, rent a patio villa for $1,500 a month. That's fairly inexpensive. Take 2 to 3 months to look for a home, and it will greatly increase the options that you have in homes that meet your criteria. All right, well, that concludes this video. As always, if you like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling Home in the Video, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. Or if you like a copy of my cost of living / budgeting tool, again, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. I hope to be seeing you around the villages. Take care.